Welcome back to the channel, oh my gosh. All right, we will edit that part out. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing Breaking Point by C.J. Box. This is book number 13 in his Joe Pickett Wyoming mystery series. You know, we always review the covers first because I love graphic design and I love cover illustration. This one is got a Wyoming scene, but everything's on fire. I like the cover. In fact, I like the covers of all the C.J. Box books. I've got the entire collection of C.J. Box books up here, right there in my library. As you can see, all the spines look like they fit together, which we love that when all the spines of the books fit together on the shelf. Makes for a great book collection. So I've been reading and reviewing these Joe Pickett novels in order of publication, and we are now to book number 13. What is Breaking Point all about? Well, it's the best book about forest fires I've ever read. I love these books. I will admit, I had just read maybe, normally when I read books, I'll read like a science fiction book, and then a mystery novel, and then maybe a horror novel, and then maybe a thriller, and then maybe a fantasy novel, and then maybe a western. I try to rotate through so I'm not reading the same genre just over and over and over and over and over. Because then I get tired of it. I got to admit that I had read about 5 mystery novels in a row before I picked this one up. And so I was a little bit mystery novel weary, and maybe that affected my enjoyment of this a little bit, because every other books 1 through 12 of the Joe Pickett series so far has been like a 10 out of 10 book. And I don't think I can give this one that high of a rating because, well, like I said, I think it's my fault. I think I went into it already mysteried out. So you live and learn. Never do that again. Always keep the rotation going. Don't bog myself down with 5 mysteries in a row, because the 5th one I'm probably not going to get into. And I think that's what happened here. The 2 EPA agents, Environmental Protection Agency agents, and 1 Corps of Engineer guy, they have to travel from Denver up to Wyoming to investigate something that's kind of a mystery. They have to give some bad news to some people, although the reader is not made privy to that bad news. So we just are following these 3 guys up into Wyoming as they have to go do something that they don't really want to do, they know is going to change someone's life drastically. And then 2 of the 3 are killed en route to their destination. I won't say which 2 of the 3, but anyway, now we've got a murder investigation that our game warden, Joe Pickett, has to investigate. Now, Joe Pickett, let's talk about him a little bit. He's a game warden. In book 1, he was a rookie game warden. Now in book 13, he's been on a job for like 13 years now. So he's a little bit more of a veteran. He's not the bumbling, stumbling Barney Fife doofus that he sort of was in the first handful of books. Now he's a little bit more seasoned. He can handle things a little bit better. His kids are grown up. You know, the kids that we met in book 1 that were just little kids. Like Sheridan was like 5 or 6 in the first book. Now she's 19 and going to college. He's got an adoptive daughter named April that's 17 that's working at the Arby's or something, or the Burger King. I can't remember what job she went and got. And then he's got another daughter named Lucy that I think is the same age as April. Anyway, that's another thing, is we get to follow Joe Pickett's family throughout this entire series, which is part of the fun of it, because you kind of feel like you know that family, his wife Mary Beth, and his buddy Romanowski, who's the falconer, and we get to know everybody. Another person we've gotten to know is Butch, one of his friends. Now, Butch is seen near where these guys went missing, where these EPA agents went missing. And not only is he seen there, but it's Joe Pickett that sees him there. Joe Pickett himself. And So on the back cover, it says, Joe Pickett always liked Butch Robinson, a hard-working local business owner whose daughter is friends with his own. Little does Joe know that when Butch says he is heading into the mountains to scout elk, he is actually going on the run. 2 EPA employees have been murdered, and all signs point to Butch as the killer. Soon, Joe hears of the land Butch and his wife had bought to retire on. Until they are told by the EPA that land has been declared wetlands, and the penalties the agency charged Butch and his family are astronomical. His family is torn apart, and the man has cracked. It's an awful story. But is it the whole story? The more Joe investigates, the more he begins to wonder, and the more he finds himself in the middle of a war in which he must choose sides. I understand this because I grew up in Sevier County on a farm that my grandfather ran, and he used to just hate the Corps of Engineers, the Environmental Protection Agency. He used to hate the rules and regulations that these people would put at a federal level upon local farmers and local ranchers and local hunters, and it just was maddening, the asinine stuff that the federal government does to local principalities. And my grandpa was he fought and fought and fought against that. So I understand the position that Joe's buddy Butch was put in. You know, sometimes you've got dreams for your land, and then the government is like, no, there's all this stuff about your land and that we want to protect, and you can't do jack shit with it. In fact, if you do anything on it, we will fine you into bankruptcy. It happens so much in the West. And people fight against it. People fight against it. Anyway, this book it's a good mystery. It's a solid mystery. Probably so far my least favorite, though, of the Joe Pickett books. But this is 13 books in, and we've got 12 books that I've given 10 stars out of 10 stars to. So this one will give probably about an 8 star out of 10. Because it still was good. I mean, I loved reading about the ravaging effects that forest fires can have with just the landscape in general, and just towards the end, it is a chase through a crazy forest fire. And so anyway, you know, C.J. Box is my guy. I've loved his series, and I can't wait to get till book number 14 to see what happens next. So until then, see ya.